What's up, guys? In this video, we'll be discussing how to make your squats safer and more efficient than ever. One of the most common injuries that people normally get from working out are lower back injuries. A lot of this are actually because of performing the movement incorrectly or using the muscle too much that it becomes overused, causing you to get injured. You can even get your lower back injured by just going through your day to day life and doing regular things like getting out of your bed incorrectly, or picking up things from the floor incorrectly, or even standing up. So, a lot of the things that I will talk about in this video can also be applied to your day to day life, but mainly the stuff that I will talk about will be for your squats and any squatting movements that you are doing inside the gym or when you are working out. But when it comes to workout techniques, you have to understand that everybody has different body structure, everybody is built differently, and one workout technique will work for another person, and that same workout technique will not work for another. An example of this will be the stance when you do squats. Some people are able to perform squats in a very narrow stance, and some people are able to perform it in a very wide stance. Both of them are correct. It just depends on your body structure, which one feels comfortable for you, which one is not causing any pain. There's two really important things that you should always ask yourself every time you are performing a workout technique that you have learned from videos and from other people. One, is the workout technique comfortable and painless? And two, are you able to generate force and you're able to feel the muscle that you're trying to work using that workout technique? If the answer to these two questions are no, then you're gonna have to look for another workout technique that will be specific to your body structure. You're gonna have to look for something else that will accommodate to how your body is, so that the more that you do them, the more likely you're gonna be able to feel the right muscle. It's gonna be comfortable for you. There will be no pain every time you do the movement. The more that you use the workout technique that's not appropriate for you, the more likelihood of you getting injured. So just make sure you keep this in mind because this is really important. All right, so the first technique that you should know about when it comes to squatting safely is called bracing. Bracing is a technique so that you're able to keep your torso tight when you are performing your squatting movement. And this is a way for you to make sure that your lower back is also not prone to getting hurt because your core is tight throughout the movement. The main problem with the regular technique that people normally advocate, which is keeping your chest up, is that you're not really able to keep yourself tight if you have your chest up. Your lower back is more prone to getting hurt because your back tends to round if you have your chest up. So learning how to brace will eliminate this issue because now you're able to keep your chest down and you're able to keep a very tight position for your lower back when you are performing your squats. So to brace, what you actually have to do is first consider your torso to be two parts: the upper torso, which is your chest and up, and your lower torso, which is your hips and down. Your core will be the main thing that's going to be controlling the first part and the second part of your torso. So what you want is to have your upper torso as close as possible to your lower torso. And to do this, you want to blow all the air out from your core so that your ribs will naturally collapse toward your hips. This will engage your abs. From there, you want to take a deep breath. You want to take as much breath as you can to kind of create a lot of air and support for your abs and your lower back. So fill your core with as much air as you can. And then from there, hold it in, and then you're ready to perform your squat. As a side note, you're going to be breathing just using your stomach or using your core. You're not using your chest to take the air in. You're going to be using your core to take the air in and to make sure that every time you do the rep, you're going to be filling this area out so that you're as tight as possible before you start the movement again. Once you learn how to brace, you're going to be able to keep your torso tight and your back will feel a lot more safer. I don't even use belt just because of this, because bracing is enough for me. I'm able to keep my torso tight and my lower back never feels in danger because I'm able to make sure that my torso is always in one unit. And this is the problem with people who always have issues with squatting. They can't really connect their upper torso with their lower torso, so their squatting movement becomes more complicated than it should. Instead of using just their legs and their hips to perform the squat, they tend to use their legs, their hips, their lower back, their chest. It's a waste of energy and it's not really being efficient when it comes to performing the movement. So if you imagine leg pressing, for example, leg pressing will be really efficient when it comes to using your legs to complete the movement because your torso is completely secure with the seat and the handle. You're able to naturally keep your torso tight because you're holding onto something and the only thing that's moving the weight is your legs. If you're squatting and you know how to brace, you're actually able to mimic the situation because you're able to keep your torso tight with the weight on your back, and the only thing that's moving it is your legs and your hips. So, knowing how to brace is a really good advantage, and it's a way for you to make sure that you know how to keep your torso tight and keep your lower back safe. Once you learn how to brace to prevent any energy leaks from your torso, you should also learn how to root your feet to create an even safer squatting pattern. Rooting your feet enables you to generate more force, creates more balance and stability when you are squatting. It's actually pretty simple to do this. Using your big toes and the outside part of your feet, this is where you want the pressure to be. Normally, people are told to have the heels as a part where they want the pressure to be, but to be really efficient with this, you want to use your toes and the outside part of your feet. And then you want to start imagining spreading the floor at the same time as you are gripping the floor with your toes. This will create the stability and the pressure that you need so that you can start feeling the right muscle being activated. And you want your glutes, you want your quads being activated at the same time. From here, just open up your hips and your torso will naturally start going down. You don't have to do anything extra. Those people who don't really know how to brace have issues in this part because if they're not bracing, they tend to lean forward and they tend to really have issues with their lower back because it's being used in this part. And leaning forward is the worst thing that you can do when it comes to squatting. So remember, keep your torso braced, make sure you're rooting, and then start opening up your hips to start the movement. The last thing that you're gonna do actually depends if you're doing high bar squatting or low bar squatting. I'm not really experienced when it comes to high bar squatting, but if you're low bar squatting, from this position, you wanna start pushing through using your hips. So that's the first thing that's gonna go up. Not your torso, but your hips. I'm gonna have a video right here that's gonna show you part of the movement in the machine. This is about 80% of what I would do in a barbell squat. This is showing you what's happening after I open up my hips, I descended down, and my torso is braced. So now I'm going up. I'm not completing the movement all throughout because I want to keep the tension on my quads. But as I've said before, this is about 80% of what I would do on a squatting movement. So I'm just using my hips to kind of have myself forward. And to complete the other 20%, I'm not gonna good morning the barbell forward, but I'm gonna use my hip hinge to thrust myself forward and complete my movement and have the barbell where it started from the beginning. For those of you who don't know what a good morning workout is, that's when you have a weight in front of you, or if you have a barbell behind you and you're moving the weight from point A to point B using your lower back only. So if this is point A, point B, you're kind of going up and down and you're only using your lower back. You don't ever want to do this when you are squatting because if you have a lot of weight on your back and your lower back is not as strong, then you're definitely going to hurt yourself. And this is exactly what happens to those people who would pick up really heavy things on the floor and they would just use their lower back instead of using their legs. So when you are doing something like that, make sure you're conscious about what you're doing so you don't get hurt. The quality of my leg workouts has changed so much after learning and practicing all this. Before, my leg workouts were okay, but I wasn't sure that I was taking advantage of my squat strength because I wasn't sure about the safety and I didn't really feel comfortable about the movement itself. But now I do. So I want the same thing for you guys. I want this video to take your squat safety and efficiency to the next level. If you have any questions for me, if you want to discuss anything, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on my next video.